everyone. So you might be wondering why you're looking at these two pieces of plant furniture, plant accessories. The first is because, I'll explain in a second, I promise. The first is this really cool plant stand that I got at Home Goods today. They have a few sort of plant things left, even though the growing season's winding down and they're transitioning away from their plant accessories. And here is a little sort of plant stand with wheels. Why do I need it? Because I went and I did this about, 2 weeks ago now, and I haven't wanted to deal with the fact that I did this. And what I mean by that is I saw this mature, large Monstera Deliciosa at Lowe's, and I paid for it, and I squished it into my car and brought it home. And you can see there's lots of brown spots on the leaves. It's not in the best shape. And I want to say that I knew that when I was buying it, that there were some problems here. However, or I want to say that I didn't know. I did know. I could tell. But this was the best of the lot, and I went ahead and I grabbed it. And I can only say that I did this. Hold on. Here is its newest leaf, and even that leaf, it just finished unfurling. You can see it has these brown spots on it. Oh, gosh, what was I thinking? I was just frustrated. I've been growing a Monstera for about a year now, and it's maturing, but it's nowhere near this point. And I think that I just, in a moment, lost control and impulsively decided to buy this. I mean, look at this. Look, just pieces falling off. I'm maybe exaggerating a little bit. It's really not in that bad of shape, perhaps. But there is a lot of damage to the leaves. Some of it looks like it's shipping. Some of it looks like it was direct sunlight. It could be over fertilization as well. Maybe too much fertilizer. I'm going to have to really kind of investigate. But here's part of the issue is that it's at the end of the growing season. The equinox is going to be in 2 days. And so it's not the time for me to repot this, even though looking at how it's been potted kind of just drives me absolutely crazy. And I knew once I started filming, I was going to start like pulling pieces off and really cleaning it up. I wouldn't be able to help myself. So I'm glad that I, it was overdue to make this video. However, you can see I'm not happy. It's really hard to water this plant currently because the way that it's been potted and all of the materials are sitting right up at the brim of the pot, and they kind of, when you're adding water, run down. I'm already getting dirt on my clean floor. My floors were just cleaned, and of course I decide to start fussing around with my plant. However, yeah, it's too late in the season, in my opinion, to repot it. It's too late to save my floor. I've already made it dirty now. Look at this. See, this is going to become a hole, right? That's going to become a hole. It does have an aerial root down here, which is cool. But again, I'm really not happy with how it was potted, and I'm not particularly thrilled with myself for, picking it up and taking it. I bought a juvenile Monstera with every intention of raising it to get to this point. And, in a moment when I couldn't control myself of just impatience, I decided that I'm going to buy this Monstera, that is really, right now here is my juvenile Monstera that I bought last year. And as you can see, it's growing larger and larger leaves, but it's nowhere near the size or the scope of the Monstera that I picked up from Lowe's. And I've had this, I want to say it was in my August 2018 plant haul, which means I likely got it in July. So I've maybe had this plant 14 months now. And the leaves are getting larger and larger. I haven't trained it. I don't have anything in there. I don't have a trellis. I'm not trying to control its growth right exactly at this second, but it has reached this point where I'm going to have to do something. And I realize that. But even if you look here, this is its largest leaf that it's grown. It is larger than my hand. And so I really do need to start thinking about, what am I going to do? Am I going to do a moss pole? Am I going to do bamboo trellises or maybe a wire trellis. It's something I'm really trying to figure out now. I've been looking at a lot of videos and photos, and it is growing its own aerial root here as well. So it is maturing. And it has 2 split leaves that are on the other side of the plant. So I don't think you see them in this video, but it has started to grow some split leaves. And this is what it looked like when I got it. It was in a, it had a few leaves that had tears in them, and that was more from kind of mechanical damage, probably in shipping or being on a shelf and being brushed up against. But you can see how small it was. Got it for $10 in a 6-inch pot. I thought that it was a pretty good deal, and again, every intention of watching it grow and of raising it myself and waiting for its split leaves to develop. And it did start to develop. I want to say that after I got it, its first split leaf was probably 8 months after I got it. So this spring is when I first started to see split leaves. And it has 2 leaves now that have the split leaf. But this is what it looked like when I got it. Significantly smaller than it is today. But still, it's a good looking plant. And I was happy with it then, and I'm happy with it now. I probably just really need to figure out exactly how I want to manage the fact that when you do not sort of trellis these, if you don't have the moss pole in there, eventually they really start to go wild. They start to spread out, and they take up considerably more room in your house once they do this. And as they get larger, that just kind of is something that it's a problem that grows. So I've got to really start thinking about how it is that I want to sort of manage the plant, and in the longer term, what is it that I'm hoping for from the plant? Do I want it to grow up something? Do I maybe want to even now trim it back a little bit? It has grown some stems that I could propagate, that I could divide and split up. Some of its stems are more juvenile than others. They're newer, and those could possibly be fed into a new plant, I guess. And I never intended to propagate this plant. It's still really young, but if you've been around my channel for a while, I accidentally snapped this off while I was cleaning up my Monstera, and thankfully it had nodes. I put it into water right away and grew some roots over the spring. They grew pretty quickly, and I potted it up, and it was not as easy to pot as I wanted it to be. That's one thing that I'm going to take away with me. It's not that the plant had a hard time, and I'll show you what it looks like today, because this video is a couple months old. I meant to make a video of its potting, and I never did, because honestly the potting did not go to plan, because again, it's not that the plant has had any problem surviving in terms of transitioning from being propagated in water and put into soil. It is more so that trying to get the plant to sit into this pot correctly was actually really difficult, and I had a little bit of a struggle with that, because getting it to actually the roots to sit in the pot in a way that kind of made sense for the plant to be upright was more difficult than I thought. And I do end up having to stake it, and I just used actually a chopstick. It's what I had on hand. It's one of the things that I use with my plants pretty regularly for a variety of things, and so I ended up just staking it with that. But again, I didn't transition it from the water into the soil until it had started to grow this new leaf. It grew a 3rd leaf, and I thought, it's ready. And this is what it looks like today. I brought it out to hang out with its friends. That leaf right there is its newest leaf. It's its largest leaf, and so now it's technically 4 leaves where it started out 2. And an accidental propagation from my juvenile Monstera. Here my juvenile and this mature Monstera are here together. I hesitate to call the tallest one mine, but I guess I bought it, and it is mine. I'm not going to be able to repot it, and I'm going to kind of have to live with what I've done. But that is why I got some new plant furniture. It was definitely needed. As you can see, I'm going to have to move this Monstera around a little bit. And so It's all going to work out. If you have any questions, please be sure, or suggestions especially, be sure to leave a comment. And until next time, be well and take care.